Hello and welcome to Ecom Insiders Podcast. My name is Debbie and this event is sponsored by SPCTEK. Today's topic is how to unleash growth with Amazon DSP. Our guest speaker is Nadine Schopper, co-CEO and founder of BidX. Her background is in computer science, and so she initially coded the first version of BidX in 2017. And before that, she worked with another startup and for KPMG in the field of data and analysis. She married her co-founder and they started their US expansion in 2021. Well, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for having me, Debbie.
Yeah. What is Amazon DSP and how does it differ from other advertising platforms?
Yeah, so Amazon DSP is basically an ad type where you can not only advertise on Amazon, but also off Amazon. So Amazon is collecting a lot of data, as we all know. So they know which products we buy. So probably they know which car we have, that we might have a pet, that we might be in a relationship, or I don't want to know what they actually know. So they probably know everything. So they can use all of this data to then target you directly on and off Amazon. For example, if you're reading the New York Times, you can also get the advertisements there. And the Amazon DSP is not only available for Amazon sellers, but also for other service providers. Let's say like an insurance company, they could use the data that Amazon collected. They probably also know around like your salary. So they know how much you can spend for insurances and financial products. So also these companies can use the data to advertise on and off Amazon. And it's really, really powerful. So there are also other DSPs. For example, Google has a DSP as well, but they have like less data of you.
What does DSP actually mean?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm so deep into the topic that I always forget that people don't know. It's a demand-side platform.
Okay. All right. And what kind of advertising campaigns would you usually run on Amazon DSP?
Well, there are different ones. So you can use regular display ads, which you also see on Amazon a lot, and you can also find them on other sites outside of Amazon. You can run video ads, which is also pretty cool because you can run them on Fire TV, on Freevee, on Twitch. So you can get a lot of exposure out there with Amazon DSP. You can have audio ads, and you can also like define if you want to be shown up only on mobile or on desktop. So it's pretty powerful.
Well, so that brings me to a question that what are some of your targeting options if you're using Amazon DSP? They've got all this data, so what do they share with you as the advertiser?
Yeah. So me as an advertiser, I can decide, for example, for behavioral targeting. Let's say it's about what are you browsing for and which purchases did you make over the past over the past time frame. You can actually set this time frame very individually too. It's about demographics, so your age, your gender, your income, and several other factors there. You can make it based on the content. So what content are users viewing? So it's also pretty powerful. And for retargeting, for example, you can also do retargeting, which is like a bit more lower funnel, which is also powerful also for sellers more, who not just only want to have more awareness. And there is another tool on top of the DSP, which is the AMC. It's the Amazon Marketing Cloud. With the AMC, you can see the whole like customer journey someone has, and you can see how DSP and PPC work together. So I can see first the client clicked on a DSP ad, then he clicked on a sponsored brands ad, and I can see the whole journey until he actually bought the product. And within the AMC, I can also create custom charts. And based on this chart, I can then create an audience within DSP. So the audiences I can create and the targeting I can make with DSP is very flexible and powerful. And I can also just do like regular lookalike targeting lookalike audiences, which most of us probably also know from Facebook and other sites.
Yeah. So, like, this is when I'm on Google. I go into Amazon and I look at something, and then I go back into Google for something, and I see the ad right on the side. That's exactly the same thing that I just looked at on Amazon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
retargeting. Yeah.
Okay.
They
All
track you
right.
down.
You cannot get away, right?
No,
Um,
no.
how can Amazon DSP be used to support brand or product awareness campaigns?
Yeah. Um, so in general, like most of the DSP products are more awareness driven. It's more upper funnel. Um, and we have also lower funnel like retargeting. But usually brands use the DSP to launch new products or get more brand awareness in general. You can reach new audiences that you never sold any product to yet.
Hmm.
And you can do like cross-channel campaigns like over different sites, not only Amazon. So that's pretty powerful. But in general, we recommend to first go with the sponsored product ads and leverage them to the fullest, and then start doing DSP. So usually we see that sellers who start using the DSP first have an ad spend of $15,000 on sponsored product ads, and then they start using the DSP too. And then a minimum budget for DSP would be like $5,000 a month, because otherwise it doesn't make too much sense. You need some budget to actually get some traction there.
So, what are some of the best practices for creating a high performing Amazon DSP campaign?
Yeah. First, you really need to know what your target is. Do you want to have brand awareness or do you want to create conversions? And then you need creatives. Like for most DSP ads, you also need your own creatives, which is also like an advantage kind of, because you really can like do pretty new product launches with very nice creative there, like videos or pictures. Then you need to make sure that the targeting you are choosing for is right. And you can also A/B test there a little bit on what works. That is the same like for creatives, you should do A/B testing. For the targeting, you should do A/B testing. And then you should automate that and optimize it all the time. So, for example, we also have a tool with which we optimize it all the time, and you really have to. It's like PPC. You really have to keep track of what you're doing there, see your KPIs, know your numbers, and then optimize it. Therefore,
Yeah, so you bring me really to a question like, how do they optimize their bids and their budgets in order to have better performance?
yeah. So, like the KPIs we have for the DSP are also like click-through rate, cost per miller is it in this case. So we don't have a cost per click. We have a cost per 1,000 views for DSP, which is a bit different. Then we have the ROAS, and then you should also just adjust the bids based on the data that you have. And for example, you should also adjust the budgets, and you can also see like the delivery rates of your campaigns. And when the delivery rate is too low, that means that actually not enough people see your ads, and then it doesn't really make sense to decrease to have that much of a budget there and just decrease it in that case. So it's like different KPIs that you should keep track on and that you keep in mind.
Tell us a little bit about how the A/B testing actually is used to improve the Amazon DSP campaign.
Yeah, that's also similar with what you should do with your product detail page or your PPC ads. You have the creatives, you have segments that you can do A/B testing on, and you can also have a landing page. So, for example, an insurance company would not lead you to their Amazon store because there is none, but they would have a landing page. So you can do A/B testing for different landing pages. You can do A/B testing for the creatives, and there are nice tools like, for example, PickFood, which we work with a lot for A/B testing, and then let the people and the data decide.
How long do you actually do the same images against each other for an effective A/B testing? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it depends a bit on the budget. So the higher the budget, the more views you actually get. And when there is like more views, you can also like rather see if there's where the difference is. But usually it's like a week in which
Okay.
you test like both pictures or several pictures. Doesn't need to be only two.
Oh, okay. Good. What metrics do you actually focus on when you're evaluating how effective that campaign has been?
Yeah, that depends a little bit on what the goal for the campaign is. So when it's awareness, it's probably more about the impressions and that people actually see your product and get aware of you and your brand. And when the goal is that you actually have conversions, then it's certainly the conversion rate or the return on advertising spend. So it definitely depends on your goal, but it's also similar to what we see in PPC. But in general, DSP is more awareness driven. And we saw that a lot also with sellers who wanted to do DSP in the past. And they were like thinking that they would get immediate sales from it. But if you do an awareness campaign and you do not do retargeting, it is more about awareness. It's for bigger brands usually who want to compete with their competitors more and bring more or get more brand awareness. And but on the other side, like we had a client who was using DSP a lot, and he kind of said that he's not really satisfied because he didn't really see the results he got from the DSP immediately. And that was when we also enhanced the AMC, the Amazon Marketing Cloud, because with the AMC, you could then see, okay, that's the customer journey, and actually your DSP has an impact on your ads in general and on your organic sales. And you can see that there are like 3 touch points on DSP before a customer usually actually buys the product. And yeah, that's kind of the metrics that we are looking for.
Okay. So, we're all gearing up for fourth quarter. So, tell us about how seasonal trends and events can actually be leveraged on Amazon DSP.
Yeah, so there are like several things you can do. Like before there is, let's say, a Prime Day or before there is Christmas, you should have the DSP ads to show to your customers, and then you can retarget them again. So whoever had an interaction, you can then retarget them again for the actual week before Christmas or the actual Prime Day week. And that kind of is the best practice to have kind of a leads up phase where you target the people and then retarget them again for the actual deal phase.
Yeah. This is all fascinating to me, actually, because I'm thinking about how much of a strategy this is. It's so strategic. You know, you're leading up to it, you're retargeting, and then when you get there, you're retargeting, and you're all trying to point them to that sale or whatever it is. So to me, this is just fascinating. And I think for people who aren't really in advertising themselves, we have no idea the layers that you all go through. I mean, I'm enjoying learning a little bit more about it. What do you think some of the common challenges are for Amazon users I'm sorry, for advertisers as they start to face Amazon DSP?
Yeah, I would say definitely the biggest challenge is the complexity of the platform. So with DSP, you have a lot more possibilities to customize your ads, and you can do so much wrong. So in general, I would say, or I would always recommend to go with an agency first and learn from them what they are doing. And in general, it's also not too easy to actually get a seat for DSP from Amazon. So to get a seat from Amazon for actually doing DSP your own, they have like a limit that you have to reach in ad spend per year. And I don't know where it is right now, but it is a lot. So if you only want to spend like 5,000 a month, you won't get your own seat, or you would have to pay penalty fees in the end. So if
Oh,
your
okay.
budget doesn't exceed this limit, you should definitely go with an agency so that they manage it for you. And then when you learned from the agency what they are doing, how they are doing it, And when you then can get your own seat, then you can take over. But that's like some challenges we see. So it's not too easy to actually get into DSP if you're not going with an agency. And then it's also a lot of data that you get out of it, especially when you have the AMC. So the AMC is in general just like raw data. So you have to have a tool or your own expertise to actually work with this data and build or like make recommendations out of these data. So it's a lot of data, a lot of customization you can do, and a lot of ad spend that's going into it or can go into it, or that you would have to get your own seat. So it's challenging, but when you have an agency that's helping you with it, it's doable, and it's actually very powerful too.
Now I really understand why your background, in coding and some of that type of stuff, data and analytics is so important. When I was first reading that, I thought, oh, advertising, and she's coming from a data background. But now I kind of get why that is so important. What do you think are going to be emerging trends that you're going to see on Amazon DSP?
It's definitely going more towards video ads on Prime TV, Freevee, and so on. And what I find really cool is there are some pilots already that they're doing right now. Is let's say you are watching a series on Prime, on Amazon Prime, and then you have several products in the video in the series, and then you can actually buy them directly within the Amazon Prime videos. That's pretty cool. So let's see, you see a purse there, and it's like, oh, that's so nice. How can I get that? And then you can just buy it immediately on your Fire TV. Um, I would really like that. I know there are some pilots right now where they are testing it, and it's only accessible for like very big brands who are part of the beta. But that would be a game changer, I would say, for advertising and especially for Amazon
Yeah.
ads.
I mean, that takes the shopping network to a different level, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because you can
definitely.
actually, yeah, I love that. Anything
Yes.
else you think that we're going to see? How is AI, do you think, going to play in with some of these trends and stuff?
Well, in general, AI is already becoming a part of advertising right now. So, for example, for creatives, we can use AI to create these creatives, and then hopefully also in the future we can use the AI to then A/B test different pictures. And we don't, let's say we just log into the advertising console, we say, yeah, I want to create this ad, and it's then automatically like with a photo you uploaded, let's say it's a physical product in that case, and then you they are just creating different creatives and testing them against each other, and then the AI is actually showing the ad that's like best for your return on investment in the end. And then like same for the text, like the copies you have for your ads and for the optimization. Like we already have the AI in the background to do the bidding for the DSP advertisements, but I feel like there are so many points where you can actually use AI. It's endless.
I I myself really like AI, mostly for many of the things that I'm writing or research. When I'm doing an interview, I'll do a lot of research before, and man, I'm just amazed at how quickly I can kind of get a sense or an understanding of a topic. So I'm a big AI user. I know there are some drawbacks, and I know there are some people who are very con to it, but I do think that it's really making all of our lives a little bit easier.
Yeah.
If you had a final takeaway for anyone who's considering Amazon DSP, what would you tell them?
If you consider DSP, make sure that you already leverage your sponsored product ads right now to the fullest. Then before you start doing DSP, make sure that you know what your goal is. Is it conversions or is it awareness? And then use tools like the AMC where you can create your own audiences with and actually see which impact DSP has, because nothing is worse than doing ads and not knowing what it's actually doing for you. and if it's worth it. So definitely make sure that you know your data, you know your KPIs, and that you have also some target KPIs in mind for for example, for your return on investment.
Yeah, Nadine, if people had additional questions for you, what's your website?
It's bidx.io, BIDX.io.
Okay, great. I really want to thank you for joining us today on Ecom Insiders, which is sponsored by SPCTEK. Our guest speaker again, Nadine Schopper. And if you have any questions, leave them below in the comment field. If you enjoyed today's session, please subscribe and listen to future editions of Ecom Insiders. Again, Nadine, thank you for educating us on DSP.
Thank you so much for having me, Debbie. It was a pleasure.